Catch the wave. You're listening to Wave Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
What's going on, good people? You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown, and I want to thank you for joining me for Thrive Thursday. Yes, it is Thursday. And today we are not just talking about thriving, we are confronting why you're not. Because at some point, you have to stop saying you want more and start asking yourself, why don't I have it yet? Not blaming your past, not blaming people, not blaming timing, but looking at your life and saying, what have I been allowing, avoiding, and delaying? Because thriving is not random. It's the result of alignment, discipline, and movement. And today, we're going to expose the gap between what you say and what you actually do. Because the word already made this clear in James 2:17. Faith, it hath not works, is dead being alone. So faith without works is dead. So today is not about what you believe, it's about what your life proves. You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Join us on this heavenly journey, one song at a time, Wave Radio.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown, and this is Thrive Thursday. Yes, man, I am excited. But let's start here. Let's look at the action gap. Most of you already know what to do. So let's stop acting like information is the problem. You watch the videos, you've heard the messages, you've had the conversations, but research shows you only follow through about 53% of the time. So let me ask you directly, how many times have you told yourself you were going to change and didn't? See, at some point, that's not a mistake. That's a pattern. And if it's a pattern, it's a decision. Thriving begins when you stop lying to yourself about your level of execution. You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
You're riding the waves of faith and grace on Wave Radio.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. What's going on, good people? It is Thursday. I know a lot of y'all excited. The weekend is coming. Friday's almost here. Man, stay excited about completing Thursday. Stay excited about executing the day. I want to talk about stop trying. See, you keep saying, I'm trying. Let's deal with that. Trying is a self-commitment. Trying leaves room for excuses, delays, and emotional decisions. So let me ask you this. What in your life have you been trying to do instead of deciding to do? Because once you decide, you remove negotiation, you remove emotions, you move with command. And if you're still stuck, it's because you haven't decided yet. So ask yourself this again. What in your life have you been trying to do instead of deciding to do it? You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Stay tuned and stay blessed here on Wave Radio.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. Man, hey, I want to say thank you all for listening. YouTube numbers are going up. My iHeart numbers are going up. The station numbers are going up. I really want to thank you for listening and tuning in to the Afternoon Praise and Wave Radio, where we play music that's inspired by the love of God. But let's be real. Let's talk about the comfort. Comfort is killing you. Yes, it is. Some of you are not stuck. You are comfortable. And you've built a life that supports your comfort. Your schedule supports it. Your circle supports it. Your habit supports it. And then you say you want more? No, you don't. You want more without change, and that doesn't exist. So ask yourself this. What comfort am I protecting that is blocking my growth. Because until you confront that, you will keep choosing the same life. And I'm gonna say this again. Ask yourself this. What comfort am I protecting that is blocking my growth? You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Stay tuned and stay blessed here on Wave Radio.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. Let's talk about the 5-second window. See, there's a moment right before action where your future is decided, and most of you keep missing it. Not because you can't act, but because you hesitate. So let's make it real. How many opportunities have you talked yourself out of? That call you didn't make? That move you didn't take? That step you delayed? That wasn't lack of opportunity. That was lack of action. And if you're honest, you've been the one stopping yourself. People, it's time to take accountability of our actions. No one been hating on us. No one have been stopping our movement or putting blockers in. It's been us. You've been the one stopping yourself. You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Stay tuned and stay blessed here on Wave Radio.
If you got a request or a shout out, hit me up and I got you. But let's talk about overthinking is your excuse. Yeah, I know a lot of y'all right now. Overthinking. You say you're thinking it through. Or some people say, I'm praying. I'm waiting for God to answer. But you say you're thinking it through. You're praying about it. Let's call it what it is. You're avoiding movement. Overthinking and overpraying makes you feel productive while doing nothing. Or overpraying make you feel spiritual and you're not doing nothing. So let me ask you, what have you been thinking about, praying about for weeks that should have been executed already? Because clarity doesn't come from thinking, it comes from movement. And until you move, you will stay stuck in your head. Let's go to the praying part. You're praying to God, asking God to do something. But if you're believing God is going to do it, you start operating in what you believe that you ask God for. God will show you clearly. Again, you got faith. You pray to God. You got faith. You believe God is going to do it, and you just stay still. You're not believing God is going to do it. You don't have faith. You just want God to do something magically. But the Bible said faith without works is dead. So if you praying to God, asking God for something, and you have faith and belief, start moving like it's already done. You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Stay tuned and stay blessed here on Wave Radio.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. Guess what, y'all? Discipline over feelings. It has to be that way. I'm going to say that again. Discipline over feelings. It have to be that way. Let's remove this excuse today. I didn't feel like it. Who cares what you feel like? That statement has cost you more than you realize, because thriving is not built on feelings. It's built on standards. So ask yourself, what are you allowing yourself to skip when you don't feel like it? Because every time you skip, you reinforce inconsistency. And every time you reinforce inconsistency, you delay your own growth. You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Bringing the sounds of heaven 24/7, Wave Radio.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. You remember we talked about environment yesterday, and I just want to touch on it again today. Your environment is training you. Look at your environment, then be honest. Does it challenge you or does it comfort you? Because if you're around people who don't grow, don't execute, don't push, then you won't either. So you ask yourself this. I know I got you asking a lot of questions. See, this show's about you taking accountability today. So that's why every break I'm saying ask yourself this. So I want you to ask yourself, who am I around that is keeping me the same? And the harder question, why am I still there? Ask yourself that. But I'll give you a short answer right now. It's because you're comfortable. Yes, you are comfortable where you are because you're not being challenged. You're not being pulled. You probably got a bunch of yes people around you. But I'm telling you, your life is not going nowhere. You're not growing. Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wave Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. This is excuse me, y'all. This is Thrive Thursday, and I want to get you out of your comfort zone. Thriving is not something you think about, it's something you do. You got to do it. Let's talk about social contagion. You don't just live in your environment, you become it. If your circle lacks discipline, you will too. If your circle lacks vision, you will too. So let's take ownership. Your current results reflect what you've been choosing to stay around. That means if you want new results, you may need new proximity. And let's push this further. Some of you are praying for elevation while staying loyal to the environments that keep you limited. Can I say that again? Some of you are praying for elevation while staying loyal to environments that keep you limited. You're asking God for increase, but refusing to leave what's familiar. That's a conflict. Because elevation requires separation. So ask yourself again, deeper this time, am I choosing relationships that sharpen me or relationships that comfort me? Because who you sit around today is shaping who you become tomorrow. You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wave Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
I want to thank you for tuning in to the Afternoon Praise on this lovely Thursday. I know we're almost through the day. Some of y'all are starting days. Some of y'all are ending days. Wherever you are, guess what? You are here today, and I need you to execute. I need you to move. I need you to get out your comfort zone. All right? So, busy is your cover up, right? Yeah. Go ahead. Just say it. Busy is your cover up. You say you're busy, but what's actually changing? Because being busy can hide the truth. You're avoiding what matters. So let's get honest. What important things are you avoiding by staying busy? Because thriving requires focus, not activity. Let's go deeper. We're going to go deeper. We're going to go in the deep end of the pool. Some of you will fill your day with small tasks so you don't have to face the big ones, the uncomfortable ones, the ones that requires discipline, the ones that will actually move your life forward. So instead, you stay active, but not effective. And at the end of the day, you're tired with no results. That's not productivity. That's distractions with effort. You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wave Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. Let's talk about spiritual alignment, because we got to put God first. And I think that's where a lot of people miss the mark. You know, they put their plans in place, then they expect God to come on over to, do what they want God to do, but not listening to God and understanding your God-given purpose. But let's talk about spiritual alignment. Where are you with God? Really? Ask yourself that. Not what you say, not what you post, but your real relationship. Because if you're not aligned spiritually, you can move fast in the wrong direction. And that's dangerous. So ask yourself, am I aligned or just active? And let's push that further. Some of you are asking God to bless movements that he never told you to make. So now you're frustrated because you're working hard with no clarity. That's what happens when you move without alignment. God is not just your comfort. He's your direction. And if you skip alignment, you will build something God never assigned. You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wave Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. Faith requires movement, people. Yes, it does. Faith requires movement. You say you have faith. Let's measure it. Let's measure your faith. Where is the movement? That's what measures your faith, the movement. Because James 2:17 say faith, if it have not works, is dead, being alone. It didn't say weak. It didn't say growing. It said dead. D-E-A-D, dead. So let's make it personal, people. If there's no movement, there's no proof. If there's no execution, there's no life in what you say you believe. So ask yourself, what do I say I believe, but haven't acted on it? And here's the truth most people don't want to face. Some of you have been using faith as a cover for fear, saying, I'm waiting on God. When God already told you to move, people. Faith is not waiting forever. Faith is moving when you have instructions. And I'm going to say this again. Faith without works is dead. You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wave Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. Let's talk about your identity is holding you back. And you know, I touched on this yesterday, but I just, God led me to touch on this again. You keep saying you want to grow, but you're still operating like your old self. So let's ask the real question. Who am I still choosing to be? Because thriving requires transformation, not improvement, transformation. Let's go deeper. You cannot build a new life with an old identity. You can't say you're disciplined, but move inconsistently. You can't say you're focused, but live distracted. Your identity is not what you say. It's what you repeatedly do. So if your life, it hasn't changed, it's because your identity hasn't either. It's time for the new wineskin, people. It's time for the new wineskin. It's time for the new wineskin. And y'all know what I'm talking about. You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wave Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown. Guess what? Your energy matters. Your energy matters. So you must have energy management. You say you're tired, but why? Is it really life? Or is it your habits? So ask yourself, am I tired or am I undisciplined? Because how you sleep, eat, move, and think directly affects your ability to thrive. Some of you don't have an energy problem, you have a management problem. Late nights with no structure, poor eating habits, no physical movement, no mental discipline. And then you expect high performance. That's not how it works. You can't operate at a high level with low level habits. I'm gonna say that again. You can't operate at a high level with low level habits. And I'm gonna tell you where I fall in here. Poor eating habits. I'm trying, I'm getting better, but I still got poor eating habits. I love some sweets. So I got to discipline myself. And that's one thing I'm working on. So work on what you need to work on. Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wave Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown, and this is Thrive Thursday. Some of you are stuck because everything is about you. Your fears, your doubts, your insecurities. But when you shift to service, you move faster. So ask yourself, who am I helping? Or who am I only focused on myself? Or am I only focused on myself? Excuse me. Let's go deeper with this. When your focus is only you overthink everything. You hesitate more. You question more. You delay more. But when you focus on serving others, you move with purpose. And purpose creates momentum, because now it's not just about you, it's about impact. You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wave Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. This is Thrive Thursday. Now, your standards build your life. Your life is not random. It reflects your standards. Not your goals, not your intentions, your standards. So ask yourself, what have I been tolerating that is keeping me here? Because what you tolerate, you sustain. Every time you allow inconsistency, you lower your standards. Every time you excuse yourself, you reinforce your current level. And then you wonder why nothing changes. Your life is responding to what you allow. So if you want a new life, you need new standards, not new wishes. You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wave Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise, and I want to thank you for joining me here on Thrive Thursday on Wave Radio. Again, we really appreciate you all. Our numbers are increasing. We see the support. We thank you. We thank you. We thank you. But I want to leave you with this. Let me make this clear. You're not waiting on a breakthrough. You're avoiding responsibility. And that's the shift today. No more blaming, no more delaying, no more explaining. Because James 2:17 already settled it. If there's no movement, it's dead. And let's finish this strong. Some of you are one decision away from a completely different life. Not a miracle, a decision, a move, a step, an action. So today you take ownership. Today you move, because thriving is not given, it's built, and it starts with you. You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown. I thank you for joining me. I will see you tomorrow. It is Fearless Faith Friday here on the Afternoon Praise. I love you. I'm out of here. Peace.
Stay tuned and stay blessed here on Wave Radio.